What's up, peeps? What's up? Hopefully this stream works. We've been having some issues with YouTube. It seems like YouTube just doesn't really like us. Can't imagine why. That's when you're out here telling the truth and all that good stuff. YouTube doesn't appreciate that. So, we're doing a video about Julian Assange. We'll see how long it takes for them to demonetize this or block it. But you can't ignore this truth out here that Pamela Anderson is dropping on Meghan McCain. You can't ignore that, YouTube. I'm sorry, you can try to demonetize it, but Lord Jesus, go ahead, Pamela. Look, man, I'm gonna show y'all this video. And I want y'all to, this is what you should be paying attention to. Observe how calm Pamela is while she conveys her point. And also observe how uncomfortable Meghan McCain is. Like, to the point where she tries to even be petty when trying to rebuttal what Pamela Anderson says about Assange.
What would you do if you were locked in a room for
really quick
6 years?
Well, I wouldn't be a cyber terrorist, which he is. He hacked information. He leaks included classified documents that put our national security at risk, our military,
you know who
the lives of spies and diplomats
is the military. How many people have the American government killed innocently, and how many has WikiLeaks?
So you think the military is putting the government at risk?
The military has put many innocent lives at risk.
Oh, calm down, sir. For real, I'm actually genuinely curious about your relationship with him.
War crimes need to be punished, and they haven't. The war crimes that he's exposed, no one's done anything about it. But they put him in jail to shut him up.
Are you talking about the 210 video of the helicopter fire killing civilians in Iraq?
Yeah, well, that's one thing, but there's so many other things that he's exposed. And
so what would you say to the spies who are putting themselves at risk for our national security with your relationship with him?
Well, I don't think there's nothing proven that he's actually put anybody at risk. They've gone through this over and over again, and I think that people like Edward Snowden, Chelsea Manning are heroes, and Julian Assange is a publisher.
Putin also thinks that.
But also, Pam, he
Okay, a lot to unpack there. First of all, like I said, Pamela did such a fantastic job conveying her obviously valid and truthful points about what Julian Assange has done as far as exposing war crimes, war criminals, and exposing the American goodness gracious, it's still early, y'all. Exposing the American hegemon, and yet nobody has been punished for literal war crimes. And by the way, this isn't like one of those Assad things where we just demand that we call him a war criminal or else he'll be smeared by the media despite no charges ever being brought against him officially, and then him being prosecuted for those charges. No, this is literally Bush and Cheney are war criminals, had charges brought against them and were prosecuted. They just never faced repercussions for their war crimes. Allen West, some of you may know him. He was, I think he either ran or was supposed to run in 2016, but he is a former colonel who was phased out of the military. And if he wasn't an officer, he would have been put in jail, by the way. But he was an officer, and the military, just like, once you become an officer, it's political. And just like in politics, they protect their own. So Allen West literally committed war crimes, got caught, got charged, but he skated by. But he is a war criminal. Like, everything he did was war, but they just phased him out. It's like a specific type of chapter where basically if you're an officer and you get caught committing a crime, you still get to retire and keep your pension. That's what happened to Allen West. So, like, these are real war criminals that we have. And yet what Pamela Anderson said still holds true. They have not been prosecuted. Meanwhile, they keep Assange in jail, keep him in the embassy, despite being exonerated by the United Nations, right? Despite us knowing for a fact that he didn't hack anything. The United Nations exonerated him of this. And even the United States exonerated him of this, which is interesting. And it's funny. Have you ever noticed when they don't know what they're talking about on The View, which is 98% of the time, they go off of the list of things because they're not really passionate about these issues, right? They don't really care about these issues as much as they like to pretend to in order to smear whatever progressive or whatever anti-establishment outsider comes on The View. Because if you are passionate, you don't have to robotically read off of a list of, not only are you reading off of a list, but the facts are wrong. Oh, he's a cyber terrorist. No, he's not. He's literally not. He's a publisher. New York Times has published secrets that were put out by whistleblowers on a regular basis when they used to be, you know, credible. The 2015 Uranium One article is a prime example of this. Whenever they exposed the Clintons' involvement in the Uranium One deal and all the connections that they actually had to the Kremlin. Now, granted, that was in 2015 before New York Times just went, I mean, they just dropped the ball after that. But publishers can publish. That is what Assange is, and that is what he's done. Now, there's not been one American killed because of something that WikiLeaks published. However, it's funny that Meghan McCain brought up spies, because there were actually spies that got killed because Hillary Clinton's email got hacked when it was on her personal server, and she actually said their names in the emails. Yeah, that happened. Hillary didn't get punished for that either, though. And why did Meghan get so offended whenever that guy was like, "Woo"? Why? What? Calm down, sir. Why? I would have did the same thing, because this isn't Pamela Anderson's wheelhouse. Like politics, she is in fact a very close friend of Julian Assange. Somebody alleged that they once had a relationship. It's often alleged. I don't know if it's actually true or not. But this is how you know you're losing an argument, because Meghan McCain I'm curious, how close are you two? I've always wondered that. What does that have to do with anything that Pamela Anderson just told you as far as the facts are concerned? Even if they are together or they were together, and was anything she said untrue? This is the first time that someone who isn't a politician went on to a daytime talk show, a mainstream talk show, and actually dropped legitimate facts about Julian Assange, celebrated not only Assange, but Chelsea Manning and Edward Snowden as well, and said the very blunt truth that I feel does not get discussed enough on television, which is that Assange is a hero, Manning is a hero, Snowden is a hero. By the way, the things that Assange, Snowden, and and Manning have leaked have actually led to actionable legislation because of the overreach that was taking place that Congress didn't know about. Tulsi Gabbard actually spoke about this at one of her town halls and on Joe Rogan. But the fact of the matter is, they're heroes, doesn't get said enough. And on top of that, Manning being punished as we speak. Basically going through double jeopardy right now, because she won't say the same exact things she's already clarified while before she went to jail the first time. Julian Assange is in Great Britain's version of Guantanamo Bay, and they're claiming it's for skipping bail, which is kind of hard to do when you've been locked up for 7 years. Snowden still is in Russia. And instead of addressing substantively what Pamela Anderson said, what did Meghan McCain fall back on? As usual. Well, you know who loves all of them? Putin. Meghan. Okay, look, I know that like it's your thing to be stupid, like on TV when it comes to politics. I know you get paid for that. But Meghan, bruh, I want you to think about this logically. If Putin loved Julian Assange, why wouldn't Julian Assange seek refuge in Russia. It's almost as if Julian Assange released information about Putin and the Russian government, just like he's released information about America and our government, and Brazil and their government, and China and their government, and Israel and their government, and almost every single major government and major economic player and superpower around the world. Well, that's right, because that's exactly why he can't go seek refuge in Russia, because he's exposed quite literally every major government. He has been objective in his release, or in his releasing of information about these governments, and that's why he's universally hated by governments, not by the individuals. Because the United Nations, like I said, they exonerate him all the time. If you gotta read these trash talking points, that's because you don't have a point, really, Megan. Let's be honest. And the entire time, Meghan McCain looks so flustered, and it's hilarious because Pamela is sitting there as calm as can be. And I want people to understand how important that is, because if she would have gotten riled up and angry, I would have sympathized with her. You would have sympathized with her. I would have been riled up and angry right along with her. But unfortunately, because of social constructs and the way people stereotype people, especially women, especially blonde women, oh, look at her getting emotional. Like the narrative would have changed. Oh, is Pamela only defending Assange because of her relationship with him, even though it hasn't been confirmed that they even have one. Oh, look at Pamela getting emotional because of her close attachment to Julian Assange. Would have completely changed the conversation. What Pamela Anderson did was totally disarm Meghan McCain with facts, with a calmness. She took the Tulsi Gabbard Aloha approach there. And I genuinely appreciate that, because I know it had to be difficult putting up with that level of ignorance. Because Assange is the opposite of a cyber terrorist. Assange is the reason that people like myself are so thankful that the internet is, or at least it once was, a free market of ideas where literally anything can be made public if it gets into the right hands, and anything can be exposed, even the war crimes of the United States government. So huge shout out to Pamela Anderson there, because man, that was dope. That was dope. Hey, don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like that segment of Mikasa Sukasa. Also, you can help us upgrade the studio and take this show on the road to cover the on-the-ground politics that you love by clicking on that GoFundMe link in the description and donating literally anything. Anything helps. Also, you can follow us on Rockfin, on Twitter, and on Facebook as well. And hey, more than anything else, people, always remember, find your balance. Peace.